Hey guys, this is Jake at Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we're taking a look at this knife by QSP. This is the QS103-C. There are two different colors of this. Both of them have the black G10, but you can get it with either a satin blade or a black titanium coating. And this one's got a black stonewash and the deep green G10. Full-size knife. You know, well over 3 inches, over 3.5 inch blade here, and just a nice full-size folding knife for a relatively decent price. So if you want to check this thing out, stay tuned, stick around. It's coming at you right now. Okay, the first thing to tell you about this knife is that it's got a pocket clip left and right. It doesn't have to be the first thing, but I like that. When that happens, I really do like that. So that's what we've got. We've got G10 handle scales, we've got steel liners, and we've got 440C steel for this blade. A nice drop point, almost a spear point shape. Spear point is when this edge and the spine are exactly the same shape or very close to it. And this is close to it, but it's a drop point. And there's some jimping up here. Perfect amount of aggressiveness on that jimping. They're good. When your thumb grabs on there, it holds on tight, but it doesn't get so hot that it hurts. A little bit of a hole there to make it so you can deploy the blade with your thumb in the hole if you want to. And some guys with the really good skills can do it underneath and make it flick out. I just can't. I haven't been able to do that yet. Flipper tab here, you can use, the light switch method or push down and a little bit back to make it flick out. Detent is really good on this knife. Very briefly, lockup is rock solid. That's what I was going to try to say, the rock solid and the lockup at the same time. And no blade play side to side, up and down. Lockup is excellent. Alignment of the blade when it's closed is very good. Not perfect, but very good. And it's just a well-made knife all around. So let's get a look at some of the specifics. Well, the body on this handle has a bit of a backspacer here, but the backspacer sits out proud, as you can see right there, for a big triangle hole for a lanyard. So for guys that want lanyards, that's really good. The knife shape of this handle means that it's very comfortable for a reverse grip, just because of that angle back there. It's really easy to get your thumb around there. And so you've got security holding the back of your thumb. So if you need to do a stabbing motion, your knife, your hand is unlikely to go over because your thumb is locked over the back. All kinds of grips, pinch grip, if you want to do some delicate work, regular fist grip. Your thumb gets solid on the back there. Well, that's the fist grip, and this is, the saber grip. Really well, good firm handle. Even a reverse grip is okay, but you've got a little sharp corner right there, so you got to throw your thumb in back. This is for a power cut, when you're really wanting a lot of power and you're pulling the knife to yourself. This way, some people do it sometimes for that kind of cut. It just depends on what you're cutting and what works best. The handle's got milling all over it, some CNC milling. On the side here, close to where your thumb rests, it's just cut in a little bit, where it's just one level, but you see some lines in there. You get your nice cutaway for your thumb access to the lock, and then you've got a bit of a chamfer with horizontal lines on it down here on the belly of the handle. Really helps your hand to wrap around and get a good grip. The flat sections of the G10 have got a fine texture to them, which is not super grippy, but it adds enough grip that it's, just what I like to see and feel. The screws are all Torx, although at first glimpse, that might look like it's not a Torx screw with the 3 holes around it, but it is Torx on the inside. And then you've got flush screws at the back. I really like that an awful lot. Very, very comfortable handle. Works quite well. Skeletonized, I'll show you the inside in just a little while. The pivot has got ball bearings in it, steel ball bearing. I believe it's steel. I'll show you the pictures. And then the blade here, you've got a nice sharpener's choil. It's done just large enough so that it finishes off before the sharpening point needs to, where it's at where the blade has been thinned down, the plunge is over. So really good, easy to sharpen this. It's pretty much all belly. There's a very short flat section right there. High saber grind with that swedge, and it just looks really good and it feels really good, and the size is just awesome. The flipper tab here that becomes this guard, it's got a little bit of chamfering on the edge of it, just so it nicely softens up the edges. The inside edges of the liner here have got just a little bit of chamfering on them as well, so when you have your thumb across here, there's absolutely nothing sharp at all to get in there. And then same thing on the belly. They've just done that extra little bit all over. You can see it especially on the release tab right there for the liner lock. So now let me take this knife apart. I'll give you some still pictures of the inside. So there you go. It's a good looking knife. Before we get on to the dimensions, I want to talk about the pocket clip a little bit. Although it terminates with an up sweep here on the pocket clip, I've not felt anything hot in the hand. I've had this knife for a month and a half now, used it off and on quite a bit, carried it a number of times, and never felt any problem at all. The end point just always lands right between my fingers when it's in my left hand, and when it's in my right hand, that high spot ends up right about here, but it doesn't press in at all. So I've not had any problem at all. I've tried it on the other side as well, and it works just fine. It is not a deep carry pocket clip. You've got about an inch of the knife, about 2.5 centimeters of the knife handle sticking out of your pocket when you use it. But that's not terrible because of this dark green and because of the black. It's not super showy. But let me show you what it looks like in a pair of pants anyway. So when it slides in the pocket, it catches on there just fine and slides all the way down. And it's not super obvious that you've got, something big and bright in your pocket because, like I said, the colors are nicely muted in there. And that makes it very easy to grab. So there's something good to be said for an inch of a knife sticking out of the pocket because it makes it much more efficient and sure. It's a sure thing when you grab it that you're going to get it out just right the way you want it. So not a bad thing, but some people might not like that, so I need to let you guys know. Let's talk about the different dimensions that we have on this knife. The weight to this knife, 152 grams, 5.35 ounces. Very good. I like that. The cutting edge, they've sharpened this thing very, very well. It only took 145 pounds of pressure to cut through the filament on my standardized cutting test. And even looking at it with the naked eye, it's a very fine grind on here. So they used a finer stone to sharpen this than a lot of factories use to sharpen their knives. You can tell by the little scratch lines that are in the grinding of the blade, and this one's really fine. The cutting edge length is 9.35 centimeters, 3.68 inches, so that's big. The distance from the tip to the closest spot on the G10 is a little bit less, 9.24 centimeters, which is 3.64 inches, so just a little bit less than the blade length. The blade thickness is 3.52 millimeters thick, which is 0.1385 inches, so a nice, good, standard thickness for this blade. The blade depth is 2.93 centimeters, 1.15 inches. The thickness of the edge behind the grind is 0.54 millimeters. That's 0.0215 inches. Beautiful, very good thickness, especially for 440C steel. Those of you who aren't familiar with 440C steel, it's been around since before World War II, I believe. It's a really good stainless steel. Used to be a premium stainless steel, but of course, the metallurgy keeps getting better and better, and now it's a good budget steel. The grind angle, I forgot to measure the grind angle. I will measure the grind angle and insert the numbers right here. The handle length is 12.1 centimeters, which is 4.77 inches. So that's not bad. 4 3/4 inches and over 3.5 inches. That's a really good ratio between the blade length and handle length. The grip area, so between my thumbs, is about 10.3 centimeters, just over 4 inches. The handle thickness is 1.53 centimeters, 0.6 of an inch. So a little bit hefty compared to a lot of knives. A lot of knives are right at half an inch. 0.6 is just a tiny bit more. The handle depth, that's this dimension. It's biggest right here in the middle. 2.9 centimeters, 1.14 inches. And with the blade closed, how big is it in your pocket? The biggest is right here, 3.4. That's half a centimeter more than it was when it was open, 1.34 inches. The total length of this knife with the blade deployed, tipped to the end of the handle, 21.5 centimeters, just under 8.5 inches. So beautiful knife for that length. And the balance point, let me put my finger on here, see if I can get it to balance. Oh, I got it the first time. So right close to the main choil there for your finger is where the balance point is, and that's perfect for a folding knife. I like that an awful lot. How much does this knife cost you? The best place I found to get this in North America, White Mountain Knives. I got this knife from QSP, not from White Mountain Knives, but White Mountain Knives does have the best price, and then you can get 10% off of that price too if you use my coupon code CCE. $38.95. So I saw one place in Germany that has this knife, and for some weird reason they're charging American dollars. It's 59 American dollars. And there's a UK place that sells this. Pros and cons of this knife. And unique features. Well, 440C, believe it or not, is starting to become a little bit unique. It's not getting used an awful lot in knives anymore. Even Ganzo has stopped using 440C in favor of D2, which I think was a pretty good move. D2 is probably a little bit older than 440C, if memory serves correctly. They were both designed before I was born, so not that kind of memory. But you know, older steels sometimes are a really good choice because they've got a proven track record and a proven record of exactly what's the best way to heat treat them, what's the best way to anneal them, you know, all kinds of stuff, temper them, everything that you want to do. It's just, you know, the knowledge is all out there. But 440C is a decent budget steel. I don't mind it at all. Rockwell around 58 Rockwell hardness, which is good. And this blade shape is done very, very well. It's a proven steel, and it fits the price point quite well. The detent on this knife is very good. Let me show you how it sucks it in. The detent ball just pulls it in there, and then you have to pull quite a bit to get it to come out if I'm just pulling on there. So if the detent ball holds that knife well, I can shake the knife and the blade doesn't come out. I can make it come out if I shake it hard enough, but not very easily. So that's a good thing. If you can, well, the flipper tabs, you know, Canada Border Services tends to be stopping flipper tab knives, which is one of the reasons why I have friends ship me my knives, friends and family ship me my knives through the United States. It just comes easier that way. All torque screws on this handle, getting back to the knife like I should be talking about. So that's really good. Like I said, I like the flush screws, makes them, you know, so nothing stands out. I like them when they don't standing up, when they do not stand proud of the handles. So that's good. Right and left pocket clip, that's a good thing. Works well, you know, opening and closing in the left hand, as I'm showing you right now. And of course, it works well in the right hand as well. Balance point was good, many good grips. It's skeletonized to help keep it, you know, down in the low 5-ounce measurement. Lightly chamfered edges and corners, you know, help give it some good texture, helps give it a bit of a design look, and it makes it feel good in the hand and hold really well. The lock engagement already talked about is awesome. Lock up, you know, alignment, everything's done really, really well on this knife. No blade play. What are the cons? Well, the only con that I could think of, you know, for this knife at this price point is, you know, some people don't want this much knife sticking out of the pocket clip. But if you look at how that pocket clip hole is made, there's an awful lot of deep carry pocket clips that you could screw in there. You know, then you'd have much less of the knife sticking out of your pocket. You know, another thing that I don't like an awful lot is when you've got black knives that you've got this bright white, labeling. So if their logo's on here, QSP, it's too big and too obvious for my personal tastes. I like how 440C is done small and it's up here on the ricasso. I wish the QSP would have been done smaller and put up there as well, just on this side instead of that side. Nice and small is what I like to see, so it's not really in your face. But that's just a personal taste kind of thing. I'm not taking points away from this knife for that. Do I recommend this knife? For sure, I recommend this knife. This is my second QSP knife. I'm very happy with the brand. I will be getting more QSP knives in just because I like covering more brands, and when they prove themselves that they make good stuff, I want to keep checking out more of what they've made. So there you go. The Shark by QSP QS103-A or -B or -C, which is this one, -C. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Thanks especially to my Patreon supporters. You guys are the best. And remember, always cut towards your chum. Don't put your finger forward like that. That wasn't smart. And remember, cut towards your chum, not your thumb.